Hello everyone, my name is Satyanarayan and in this video I'm going to show you how to solve questions on partnerships. Now what are exactly these problems all about? Well, in this type of a question you will be given that there are certain people who have invested certain amount of money and at the end of the transactions the profit is to be shared among them. And we have to find out that what is the fair amount of profit that each person should get. So when two or more people invest some money in a business, the time for which they invest the money may or may not be the same. And some profit is earned at the end of the period. So how should exactly the profit be shared among the investors is the crux of the question. So here are some basic fundae that you should remember. 1. When the investments of all the partners are for the same time, then the gain or loss is distributed among the partners in the ratio of their investments. Which means if there are three people, let us say A, B and C, and all the three invest amounts for the time of exactly 1 year. If A invests rupees 5,000, B invests 10,000 and C invests 20,000, then because the time period is the same and their investments are in the ratio of 5:10:20, which is 1:2:4, any profit that they have will also be shared in the ratio of 1:2:4. Now this is extremely simple, but more frequently you will be asked questions where the amounts invested may or may not be the same, but more importantly the time period for which they invest will also not be the same. So when investments are for different time periods, the equivalent capital invested is first calculated for a unit of time using the formula capital multiplied by the number of units of time. And then the gain or the loss is divided in the ratio of these capital. Now, to understand this concept, let us take a look at some examples so that we get more clarity on this subject. Now, assume that there are two people A and B. A invests rupees 10,000 for a time period of 1 year, whereas B invests the same 10,000 but for a period of 2 years. So, the equivalent investment that we will calculate would be as under. A has one time period multiplied by 10,000, so his total equivalent investment is 10,000. B invests 10,000 but his time period is 2 years, so B's equivalent investment is 2 multiplied by 10,000, which is 20,000. So now any profit or loss that they incur at the end should be shared in the ratio of 1:2. Look, A's equivalent investment worked out to 10,000 and B's equivalent investment worked out to 20,000. As these two are in the ratio of 1:2, the profit or loss will be in the ratio of 1:2. Let's take another example to understand this concept further. Say A invests rupees 20,000 for a period of 6 months, whereas B invests just rupees 5,000 but for a period of 2 years. Now, let us take a look at how we calculate the equivalent investment. We assume the 6 months to be a single time period. So A invests for one time period and B's investment for 2 years is the equivalent for 4 time periods. So A is one time period multiplied by 20,000, the equivalent capital being 20,000. For B, 4 time periods multiplied by 5,000 gives me the equivalent capital of 20,000. So although the time periods are different and the amounts invested are different, technically speaking, the capital invested by both A and B is the same. So any profit that they gain or any loss that they incur should be in the ratio of 1:1. They equally share the profit or the loss. Now in this example, there are three people A, B and C. Let us say A invests for 1 year the amount of rupees 15,000. B invests for 2 years the amount of rupees 7,500. And C invests for 3 years the amount of rupees 5,000. So calculating their equivalent investment, A is 1 multiplied by 15,000, which is 15,000 rupees. B is 2 into 7,500, which again amounts to 15,000 rupees. And C is 3 into 5,000, which again amounts to 15,000 rupees. So as the equivalent capital invested by all the three, A, B and C, is the same, the profits or the losses will also be shared in the ratio of 1:1:1. So here's what an example will look like in the paper. Let us say A, B and C subscribe rupees 50,000 for a business. A subscribes rupees 4,000 more than B and B rupees 5,000 more than C. So out of a total profit of rupees 35,000, how much does A receive? So the basic table, because all the comparisons are with C, let me say C invests X rupees. Now as B has invested 5,000 more than C, B's investment is X plus 5,000, and as A has invested 4,000 more than B, so A is X plus 5,000 plus 4,000. So the total amount invested by the three, A plus B plus C, is 50,000, which is given. So substituting the values, I get X plus 9,000 plus X plus 5,000 plus X is 50,000, or 3X plus 14,000 is 50,000. So taking 14,000 on the right hand side, I get 3X is 36,000, or X is 12,000. So A's investment is X plus 9,000, which is 12,000 plus 9,000, which is 21,000. Which means out of the total 50,000 that all the three invested, A has invested 21,000. So from the profit of 35,000, how much should A receive? Well, if A has invested 21,000 out of 50,000, then 21 by 50 is the share of 35,000 that he must receive. So A's share of the profit is 21 by 50 parts of 35,000, which amounts to 14,700. Understand, 21,000 out of 50,000 is what he invested. So 21,000 by 50,000 is his share of the profit. So 21 by 50 of the profit or loss is what A should always be getting. Now, if we had to calculate B's share, then B is X plus 5,000, which is 12 plus 5,000, which is 17,000. So B's share in the profit or loss would have been 17,000 by 50,000 of the amount, which is 17 by 50 of the amount. Similarly, had we to calculate C's share, then C invested X, which is 12,000 out of 50,000. So 12,000 by 50,000 is 12 by 50 is 6 by 25. So C would receive 6 by 25 of any profit or loss in the total venture. So remember, problems on partnerships are extremely easy. When investments of all the partners are for the same time, the gain or loss is distributed among the partners in the ratio of their investments. But when investments are for different time periods, the equivalent capitals are calculated for a unit of time by taking the capital invested multiplied by the number of units of time. And then when you get the equivalent capital, you divide the gain or loss in the ratio of these capitals. My name is Satyanarayan. You just saw the basic fun day of how to solve questions based on partnerships in mathematics. Wish you all the best. Have a good day.